Parker Ainsworth, Locked on Cougs. You've been covering the Big 12 for a long time. What are we doing with the Monster Patch? And I guess why are we doing the Monster Patch? How are we doing it? What is the Monster Patch? If you haven't seen this, for the people of the world, it is grotesque. The Big 12 Conference, instead of incorporating a Monster Patch, a part of their new Monster deal, has decided to instead put the Monster logo next to the Big 12 logo, and it takes up 9 inches of the football jersey across the player's jersey. And now social media has obviously gone nuclear over this. It's one of the worst things that I've seen.
So I think it's also like a fairly big like marketing. First of all, I should stress I wasn't super offended by the dollars and cents of the deal. There's no other conference with a deal quite like this, and you can still get your own individual patch. And I was like, hey, it means that the Big 12 logo is going to be at NASCAR. That seems up our alley. Go team, go. Monster makes 1,000 different products. I guess we can't technically show them all. We're not a Monster show, although if you want to call the office folks, we maybe get that set up. They have cans in all of the school colors, Drake. Why couldn't they just do the Monster logo in the different school colors, like the cans that are already in? Like, there's already a red and white can. Why couldn't you use the red and white Monster logo for the Houston jersey? Those kind of things I feel like are the part of it that rubs me. The $1.25 million, putting, turn my shoulders into NASCAR patches. That's fine. Let's make some money. It just, the green outside of Baylor, and it's not even the right green for them. No one wears green.
Not only that, Parker, but the idea that we are giving real estate away that other schools are charging well over $10 million for. And then the Big 12 was clear, like, hey, it's not going to take up that much space. Like, everything's going to be okay. Nobody freak out. And instead, it is taking up a large portion of the jersey that is, it's an eyesore, for one, and kind of an embarrassing eyesore. Can somebody, and you hit the nail on the head with this, can somebody explain to me why we didn't have just a 17-year-old with AI be like, hey, guys, I made a logo concept that looks better than going for just the strict green, bright, neat. I mean, look at this. This is Kansas. If you're watching on YouTube, it is so. They went to Parker. They went through the pain of making the Big 12 logo blue to be Kansas specific, but couldn't maneuver the massive ass patch on the right shoulder that has the green Monster Energy neon logo. I'm cool. I'm with you. I'm cool with the deal. I'm not that ticked off by the deal. Whatever. It doesn't bother me. I have too many things to be worried about in my life. I got cut off in traffic today to be worried about some monster deal. Yeah, the Big 12 is going to broker. But when you make us look this embarrassing, and it's kind of a string for Brett Yormark, who I've been complimentary of. I support Brett Yormark. I'm a Brett Yormark stan. But dang it, man. Nelly at halftime, it's getting hot in here. Or John Party at halftime at the Big 12 title game. At a half-empty Big 12 title game, Nelly walks out there between Iowa State and Arizona State, and the game's playing in Times Square. No. It flopped so hard. And then, we're playing in Mexico City. Nope, we're not. Just kidding. Cancel that. Not good enough. And then, we're going to have a glass floor for the basketball teams. It's so dangerous. We have to fix the glass floor in the middle of the tournament, but we're not going to fix it for the women, just the men. And then, let's do the Monster deal and ruin your jerseys. The Big 12 kind of can't get out of its own way in trying to market itself, and the marketing is not going well.
Well, and what's funny is I actually am kind of like a shoulder shrug on a lot of this Monster deal stuff. And the other stuff you mentioned is all much more important. Like, hey, if we're going to do Mexico City thing, like, let's really do that. Like, Houston basketball program would be one of the things involved in that. Let's do that. If you're going to get us in New York City and get big halftime shows, let's make sure these things really work. Use a Texas-based artist. You're in Arlington or whatever, right? Those things offend me a lot more. And I feel like there's a lot more conversation on this Monster Patch because it's a couple of ugly pictures. You can go viral. The pictures are different, right? You can go viral with an ugly picture of Kansas jerseys in a different kind of way.
I just can't.
Okay, can you rank? Okay, rank. What's if is Monster one? What's the worst thing as far as your things that have ticked you off of Brett Yormark? Is that the worst one?
And I'm still, again, I'm still the Yormark guy because I made the case of I don't want him to babysit my kids. But I don't need him to, right? I need him to babysit my finances. I'd rather him be the lawyer in the room, the guy in the room in New York who's brokering a deal for the Big 12 conference. than I would be him babysitting my kids. Like, I don't need him to babysit my football jerseys. I don't need him to babysit my basketball court. I need him to go make deal in New York and make Big 12 good. So that's where I think the most frustrating piece of all of this to me is the basketball floor, probably, for the money wasted. We're not making money on that. We're wasting money on that. Or paying to have the Big 12 championship game streamed in Times Square in 2024. We didn't do that again. So obviously that flopped the point that we didn't want to push that envelope once again. And I guess if I had to throw out this monster deal, it'd be, you're making money off of it, so I'm not as upset. Like, at least you are getting paid to do this, but it puts such an eyesore and a negative spotlight on the Big 12 conference, in the same way that the LED floor drummed up controversy. It wasn't positive. It didn't make you look good as a league. People looking at us and laughing. I don't like when people look at the Big 12 and laugh, but how do you not, based on how this sponsor deal has gone so far?
Well, and I also think that, like, a problem, if I'm drawing actual problems out of the monster deal, the rollout of this has been really bad. There was no patch to demonstrate or examples to show off and kind of, pump up at Big 12 media days. And however ugly the patches aren't to you personally, people had kind of dug their heels in on hating the deal before they ever got shown. Right. And so, like, it kind of, once it doesn't like fit in with the jersey, it kind of stands out. It's a lot of confirmation bias to me too. I think had he had a better rollout, an example, and an example of what the Big 12 is getting in return in terms of putting the Big 12 logo a bunch of places, and had some more concrete examples of that, he could have changed all this up. And that's an interesting miss for him to me. And I think the deal is he's shooting over 50% as far as things he's done, but the misses have been pretty timely misses, to use a basketball metaphor. Like, just not great opportunities missed. And again, I think in a lot of ways he's been positive for the conference, Drake. I should probably preface that before he comes raining on Locked On Big 12. But I think in most ways he's positive. These misses have just been pretty sizable misses.
I agree. And that's why I'm rooting for him, and I want to love him. I love him like a brother. But sometimes you get frustrated at family. Sometimes it's an affair. That is Parker Ainsworth, Locked On Cougs. Parker, how can more folks listen to your show every day?
Locked On Cougs every day, all things Houston Cougars. Exciting football season we haven't been able to tell, building up here. Also, the basketball program's always doing basketball program things, adding 5-and-5 guys and all that. So check us out every day where we reach podcast, just like this show, Locked On Big 12.
Wish we could end it on a higher note. Houston, the Big 12 title. Stuart Mandel, come on.
That's a high note.
Yeah. This has been, always will be. Thanks for making our shows your first listen every single day across our Locked On Cougs, Locked On Dose Grande.